The first product is the Herradura Añejo. Now, as I talked about in my previous video, this is the old packaging. I think the packaging for El Jimador looks really good, but the new packaging looks incredible. Here's a little look. Here's a look at what the old packaging looks like. And if you're familiar with the brand, you'll start to see this packaging transition from the old to the new. The new El Jimador Cristalino, which unfortunately I don't have a bottle here with me, that's already arrived to my home market of Oklahoma, and it's the new packaging. So I can only imagine in all the markets across the U.S., it's only a matter of time before the El Jimador new packaging starts to phase out the old packaging. What is the El Jimador Añejo? Well, the El Jimador brand, as I mentioned in some of my previous videos, is the entry-level 100% agave option from Casa Herradura. It's meant to be a very entry-level price point as well as entry-level flavor profile, perfect for mixed drinks or cocktails. I'm going to read the notes for the Añejo label. The El Jimador Añejo is rich, full-bodied, and packed with deep spice flavors. El Jimador Añejo is made with 100% Blue Weber agave and double distilled. It is then aged for 12 months in Brown-Forman made charred American white oak barrels. And if you're unfamiliar, Brown-Forman, who's the parent company for both El Jimador and Herradura, again, they're made at the same distillery. Brown-Forman is a Louisville-based company that is also the parent company for American whiskey brands such as Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, Old Forester Kentucky Bourbon, and Woodford Reserve Kentucky Bourbon. And historically, Brown-Forman operated a variety of different cooperages, one of the only suppliers to operate their own cooperages. Recently, they're phasing out the cooperages, but Brown-Forman places an incredible emphasis on barrels. So any discussion about any product from Brown-Forman, whether it be tequila, American whiskey, or even Scotch or Irish whiskey, there'll be a huge focus placed on barrels. Since we're talking about Añejo tequila today, that is going to be a very barrel-forward expression of tequila with lots of flavors derived from the barrel. So a conversation about barrels is particularly relevant to today's video. El Jimador was established in 1996 and is one of the 10 largest tequila brands by volume in the world. And the kind of ethos of the brand is that it's approachable, still premium, and the perfect tequila for cocktails. Okay, let's taste it. See if I can do this without knocking over my microphone. The color is described as a deep amber. So again, last video we talked about reposados. You can see, even at this price point, significant difference in color. Deep amber, I feel like, is a very accurate color description. The aroma is described as rich vanilla, seasoned oak, roasted nuts, and orange peel. Ooh, this is a really nice nose. I feel like rich vanilla and seasoned oak, very accurate. I am getting just a hint of orange as kind of one of those subtle undertones. Roasted nuts. Yeah, I definitely think you could find that in there. And I think that kind of seasoned oak, roasted nut flavor, kind of blends together. But it's really nice, and it's definitely there. All right, on the palate, it's described as caramel, vanilla, butterscotch with cooked agave and spice. And before I taste this, I already mentioned in previous videos, I love reposados because to me, they're the Goldilocks of barrel-aged tequilas. You get some enjoyable flavors from the barrel, but you still get plenty of agave. But as you start getting into the Añejo category, they start becoming a bit more of a barrel bomb. They become very barrel forward. And sometimes with some brands, we'll see if that's the case today, sometimes with some brands, those kind of agave flavors really are whitewashed and it just becomes all barrel. It almost feels like you're drinking tequila flavored bourbon. So I haven't had any spirits on my palate today. So this first sip is definitely going to be letting my mouth acclimate to the alcohol. And then I think on the second sip, we'll really be able to pull out some of these flavors. And for those of you that, are tasting at home, I'm just tasting twice for the sake of kind of brevity and the sake of being able to move through these videos quickly. But if you have a really good spirit, especially a super premium spirit, just like with a wine, if you sip that 2, 3, 4, 5 times, with very small sips each time, that spirit is going to dramatically change on your palate, each sip. That second sip is going to taste different than the third sip, the fourth sip, the fifth sip, so on and so forth, etc. And so, I'm tasting these twice, but I just want to reiterate that every time you revisit this, it's going to change slightly, especially the more premium and the more complex the product is. First sip, caramel, vanilla, butterscotch with cooked agave and spice. First sip, definitely feeling the alcohol, but it fades pretty quick. Definitely getting caramel, vanilla, butterscotch. No surprise with an añejo. Definitely getting that kind of barrel spice. There's agave in there. It's pretty subtle. I bet that agave will kind of shine through more on that second sip. All right, let's revisit this. Definitely less boozy on that second sip. Lot of barrel flavor. Caramel, vanilla, butterscotch, spice. Very, very accurate. Like, you can tell this is a tequila, but that agave flavor is very subtle, in my opinion, at least at this price point. Yes, there's flavors of a cooked agave. This is a tequila. You don't think this is a bourbon, but it's very barrel forward. Now, El Jimador is a well-done product for this price point. So the flavors are going to be good, but no one particular flavor is going to shine. It's not going to really pop, I think, at this particular price point, but it's very nice. So the idea is this drinkable? Is this enjoyable? And I definitely think it is. You're getting nice barrel flavors. You get some agave flavor, but again, if you're drinking an añejo, you want a lot of barrel flavor, and that's what you're getting with this. And the finish is described as smooth and long with oak and baking spices. I would say it's not an overly long finish, especially I have a feeling when we get into the Herradura añejo, and especially the Herradura Legend, we'll start talking about a really long finish. But I think it's a good enough finish. It's not overly short, very smooth, and definitely flavors of oak and baking spice. So I would say more or less it's an accurate description. A lot of Americans are very used to drinking barrel-forward spirits such as bourbon, rye, Tennessee whiskey. So a lot of Americans really like añejos because it's a way of drinking tequila, but still feeling some of those crossover flavors that you get from the barrel. Now, unlike American whiskey, bourbon, rye, Tennessee whiskey that are using first fill barrels where that barrel flavor is going to be extremely dominant, these are second, third, for the El Jimador price point, you're probably looking at third, fourth fill barrels. So the flavors are going to be, you're going to have shorter duration of time in barrel, and the flavors are going to be a little more subtle. So on this, you got good color, and you got good barrel flavor. Again, it's enjoyable. This is bottled at 80 proof or 40% ABV for the American market. So that raises the question, is this product worth the money? I'm going to be referencing average retail pricing for my home market of Oklahoma, but please check your local liquor store for pricing. Every single market's different. So in my home market, a 750 milliliter bottle of the El Jimador Añejo is going to retail between $26 and $29. Under $30, you're getting a pretty well done 100% agave Añejo tequila from a company that specializes, or at least historically specializes, in their barrel management. Any product, any tequila you drink from Brown-Forman, whether it be the El Jimador price point or the Herradura price point, you're going to be drinking a spirit that was aged in a former Jack barrel, former Old Forester barrel, former Woodford barrel, and I think that's really cool. If I had to guess, they're going to save those first fill and second fill barrels for Herradura, and El Jimador brand might be using those third and fourth fill barrels, so the barrel flavors are not going to be quite as strong, quite as pronounced. But for under $30, I think the El Jimador Añejo is definitely worth the money if you like barrel forward tequila. So at this price point, who is this product for? This is definitely still in your beginner novice territory. You're interested in getting into tequila. Maybe you've drank some American whiskey. Maybe you've drank some bourbon. You want strong, pronounced bourbon flavors. You're not quite ready or prepared to pay more, kind of ultra premium pricing or super premium pricing. So this is a great entry-level añejo tequila that's done well for its price point. And I think it would be a wonderful bridge product for anyone that's already drinking bourbon. Maybe you're drinking bourbon at a more entry-level price point, like Old Forester, like Four Roses, like Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, any of those kind of popular large bourbon brands, I think this product would be perfect. I love making traditional whiskey forward cocktails with tequila. I think a tequila old fashioned and tequila Manhattan would be fantastic with this particular product. I think this product drinks very well for its price point and is very representative of its price point. I think if you're interested in drinking Añejo tequila or barrel forward tequila at this particular price point, this would be a great option for the money and you would not be disappointed. All right, that's it. We're done. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something. Please give it a like and consider subscribing. If you would like to be notified whenever I have new content on my website or this YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to my email newsletter. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you have any feedback for the channel, please leave me a comment below or send me an email. I do my best to read and respond to every single email I receive. If you are a supplier and you would like to see one of your products featured on this channel, please shoot me an email. I'd love to have that conversation. And if you'd like to support this channel further, please consider becoming a Patreon member or gift me a cocktail through the link below in the description. Thank you so much again for your support. And as always, please drink responsibly.